QTEEP, where have you been? Why have you not been uploading? I'll try to keep it short and simple, which is almost impossible for me. It's going to get weirdly personal. Here's the thing, right? A couple months ago, I was hanging out with my significant other, and we were watching videos and looking at pictures of things that we've done over the years, and it was kind of nice. You know, there's a reason why your parents, your grandparents, and your great grandparents were taking pictures and potentially recording video, depending on whatever their age was, and sharing it around with the family, you know, before social media even existed. Like, I know that in today's day and age, it seems like some couples exist solely to post things on social media, but, you know, give it a shot, you know, record video, take pictures that you don't intend to upload. You just kind of intend to, like, keep in your close circle, and you can just, like, share these things. It's nice. I mean, I can genuinely tell you that night we were kind of going through and, like, we were really enjoying it, just kind of going through and looking at the things we've done. However, at a certain point, she stopped me and she said something that stuck with me. Now, it would have been simple if she said something like, "You've put on weight. It's disgusting." She would never say it's disgusting. I'm throwing that in. If she was saying that I put on weight, it would most likely be because medically she's concerned that this is going to go down a bad path. But, nah, she would call me a fatty, but it wouldn't be that mean, okay? It wouldn't be that mean. It would just be like a, you know, hey, just making you aware. But she didn't bring that. She didn't say that. Okay, that's a thing I already know. I've talked about it many times. You know, I put on the pandemic 40 pounds, and then you know, it had a negative effect on my physical and mental health. Who would have thought? But no, she brought up the fact that I used to be happier. And I think the big timeline is like pre-pandemic, but you know, there was a huge decline in like 2021 and 2022. I think there was like a honeymoon period with the pandemic where it was like, it was almost nice to not be depended on in any way. You know, like we lucked out. You know, we had a cool landlord at the time. We really kind of made things work out. So like, you know, they didn't want us to go to work or anything like that. So the landlord was very understanding. And worked with us on a lot of things. Not everyone had that opportunity. You know, this is when we were renting an apartment. And, I mean, yeah, that initial period was like, oh yeah, oh no, I'm staying home a lot and like catching up on shows. You know what I mean? Oh, I'm playing a lot of video games. It's truly awful. Yeah, I can't go to work. Oh, it really sucks. Now, of course, now you can just not go to work, but then you just be unemployed. And, I don't know how much unemployment they're handing out, but, you know, I've got bills to pay. But there was a nice period, and I felt like once it kind of came back to it, things were rough, right? Like, I did put on weight, and I do feel that had a negative impact on my mental. You know, there's been studies that show the positive effects of exercise, and I know that we live in a very body positive like world where like you can't ever possibly imply that putting on weight might have made you more miserable. No, if you're more miserable, it's just your own mind getting in the way. It's because you care about your image, and I'm going to tell you this right now, and my wife, she understands this as well. When it comes to like my physical appearance, that's like the one thing I don't give a shit about. I don't know what it is. I'm not going to pretend like there aren't times where it's like I want to be liked, but it's never for like what clothes I wear or like how I look or like whether or not I'm in shape. Like the reasons I want to be in shape are completely personal reasons, and that and the studies that show that exercise and being in shape leads to better mental health, like to the point where regular cardio can be as effective as antidepressants. So like that's an obvious thing, but there was a handful of things that kind of happened post-pandemic that have like left a bad taste in my mouth. Politics is the obvious easy one. It's a nightmare. It feels like even in your own circles, there are people that will never be happy. Like there's so much infighting on every side of the political spectrum at this point. I used to think like pre-2020, debate is the way to go, brother. That's what you got to do. You got to debate. You got to debate the people that you disagree with. You got to learn how they think so that you can understand them and you can potentially counter. Maybe you can teach them because it's about teaching. You know, you can teach them to be better. You feel like they're, you know, they misunderstand things, or maybe they're a little bit ignorant on certain topics. It's not this hyper aggressive thing where you're just like trying to own whoever for a clip. It's like, no, like I actually feel like this is something that would improve not just the country, but it would improve the lives of the people in it. Like, so that's why you argue it. You argue it. Like that's what it used to feel like, and now it just kind of feels like now it's mainly just like a thing you do to like make like point out that the other side's idiots, and it goes like both sides think that their side is doing more of the owning. So there's that. And I don't really get super into it, but it kind of ties into this next point. The types of people that have been using the internet more, like I've obviously been using the internet more since the pandemic. And, you know, you could also say, like, well, if you're also using the internet more, aren't you a part of the people that are using the internet more? So therefore part of the problem? Yeah, probably, because I also argue with people way more than I ever did pre-pandemic. But even then, like, if I argue with somebody pre-pandemic, it was fun. Like, now it's not even fun. Now it feels like, I don't know how to explain it. But, like, your boomer grandparents or great grandparents, 2020 is like the year that they're like, I'm going to learn a little bit more than Facebook. Like they learned how to actually use Facebook, and then they learned how to use like Twitter. And so now they're posting AI on both all the time. And the funniest thing about it is when you catch them and you're like, hey, this is fake. When they finally like admit like, oh, I guess this isn't real, they'll still hit you with but it doesn't matter because it's still happening. This might be fake, but I'm telling you, it's a real thing. And that's been pretty miserable. It's been, I have had family members that have gone down deep, deep conspiracies, and it happened during the pandemic. Like they became way more active online, and it's just been so easy. I have uncles, I have grandparents, I have great grandparents who are going down rabbit holes about the most insane shit, and it is very demoralizing to see it, because you know, it's one thing when it's like, oh, I had family members that I disagreed with politics on before the pandemic, you know, like my grandpa, me and him used to have all kinds of conversations, and we're not like completely different, but you know, we have, you know, a little bit of disagreements. My grandpa thinks that I should run for office, which is a psycho thing to say. I think that nowadays that means that you want your grandson to get shot, because that's insanity. But he's only done this because he's only said this because of the conversations that me and him have. And the conversations that me and him had pre-pandemic were not the conversations that like people are having now online. And he's still chill, but I've got uncles, I've got aunts, I've got other grandparents, I've got like, you know, family members that aren't blood related that are just like going down these rabbit holes. And you're not having the same conversations with them because, like, and the thing is, it's not like about people agreeing with you. Like I said, me and my grandpa, we've disagreed on things, but like, I feel like he understands that like, me and him kind of both understand that while, like, I feel certain things that he believes aren't the way to go about solving things, and he might feel the same way about me, he feels that, and this is something he said to me personally, he feels that like, my head is in the right place for it, which I think is absolutely batshit insane. Maybe pre-2020 me, but post-2020 me has been negatively affected by, like, what I see. When I look at the current state of, like, politics in the United States of America, I get extremely depressed. And I already kind of was. You know what I mean? For the past, like, 5 years. And that was when, you know, our guy was in office. So why were you happy all the time? Things have been crazy out there, man, and it extends beyond politics. It extends to how we treat each other. Like, I realize that I'm an asshole, said it many times, but my heart's in the right place. Like, at the end of the day, I will say the wrong things. I'll make a joke that'll offend somebody. Somebody won't think that I take something as seriously as I should. I've gotten those before, but deep down, I know that my heart's in the right place. You know what I mean? Deep down, I know that I've never murdered somebody. I've never harmed somebody. I've harmed somebody physically, but it's been because it was a fight and they were fighting me. And I've never abused somebody. I've never, you know, done anything, like that. So, you know, a lot of the purity testing online, it's really just about what you say. And at a certain point, it's like, I don't really want to live in a world where I always say the right things, because I'm going to fuck up. You know what I mean? And post 2020, it really does feel like, because you would see these people pre 2020, but like post 2020, you get a rise in the type of person, like this type of person, they would scroll through YouTube videos or YouTube shorts or TikToks. If they saw a video of a 7-year-old kid saying, "I'm having a great day," they wouldn't think like, that's great. They would think, This you should kill yourself. Like there's people like that out there, and I'm stupid enough to. It's like I look out for them. I've said this many times. Sometimes I'll see videos about drumming, or like studio drummers, or session drummers, or touring drummers, that are using like in-ear monitors. I've used in-ear monitors. I haven't always used them. I used to get paid to play the drums. Okay, and I've had some people that wanted you to use in-ear monitors, some people that didn't. I've never had a problem with them. Yeah, I'll use the in-ear monitors. You know, I can sit here and tell you like, oh, no, trust me. I'm a human metronome. But like, no. If you want me to use the in-ear monitors, you want to be more secure about it. You barely know me. You just know like on a professional level, I can read this music and play these drums. Yeah, I'll wear them. But like, I'll scroll through and I'll see people because I'm so stupid, man. I'll sort by newest and because I know that those are the new comments that won't receive it. Like they won't be the top comments because none of the top comments are people saying stuff like this. It's always the comments that get no likes. It's always like I keep bringing up boomers, but it's like somebody older who's just like, back in my day, musicians didn't need in-ear monitors. Now, some of them don't know that their favorite artists are still out performing shows and they are using in-ear monitors, but it is what it is. But like, I'm so like petty that I would go to like some of these accounts and I would see like, oh, they play drums and they're ass at it. I can't tell you how many times I would see somebody that complains about somebody that is paid to play drums, touring with an artist that's very well known, touring with an artist that is paying that drummer like, hey, I'm paying you as a professional. You are a professional. I expect you to be professional. You are a professional. That is what is expected of you. The amount of times I've seen like somebody that has no clue what they're talking about coming along and being like, I would never use in-ear monitors. Brother, you can barely drum to begin with. You would go to their, like, I hate that I do this, but I would do it all the time because there's a lot of drummers that I follow who are really great drummers. And unfortunately, I always sort by newest first. So I can see these comments of people I'm like, this isn't even that impressive. And then I go to their account and I see that they're hot shit or they don't upload. Or I think, what do you mean this is hot shit? This guy's fucking amazing. What are you talking about? There's so many drummers I watch where it's just like, I don't even know why I sort by newest comments. Because it's like, listen, even if we're talking subjective/objective, like this guy's got talent. You might not like the songs he plays along to or whatever, but like he's developed a talent to play these drums. And they'll be like, no. No, this guy actually doesn't know what he's talking about. You see the in-ear monitors? Fuck you. There's just more people. It feels like the internet has been filled with people that like, you know what it honestly feels like? It feels like the people that used to tell you should never believe everything you see on the internet. And A, you should never believe everything you hear or see on the internet. And B, you should be careful what you post on the internet because, your employers might see it. Those people that used to say those two things all the time are not taking their own fucking advice because they're believing everything they see on the internet, AI altogether, and they're posting wild shit and then getting mad when people are like, hey, you shouldn't say that. It's like, freedom of speech, bitch. And it's like, you used to tell me that when I was saying crazy shit online that I wouldn't be able to get a job. And now you're just yapping off. You were tired. You couldn't give a shit. You're like, oh, now you care about freedom of speech. Where are you the only ones that can say crazy shit? Because you don't have to go to a Walmart tomorrow? I'm not saying I work at Walmart. God forbid. Not talking down to anyone that works at Walmart. Good for you. But I mean, you get the idea, man. I don't know. It's just like a certain part of me is just like I'm waiting for the part or the time where something snaps in my brain where I'm like, fuck it, I don't care, because I've said before that I don't really get worked up by like physical appearance. I don't worry like if I looked like a slob that day, because I just don't really care. You know what I mean? But I'm wondering at what point I snap and I go like, you know what? Fuck it. Like we're course correcting because it's just, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm just yapping. But anyways, yeah, I don't know. That conversation we had 2 months back kind of hit me, man. I feel more depressed, and it's easy for me to point at others. And I don't get me wrong. I'm also not going to deny that like the boomers, the type of people online haven't negatively affected my health, and that has contributed to me kind of being a little bit more But there's personal things I could work on. And I'm wondering at what point like that snaps in my brain where I'm like, fuck this. I am no longer being concerned about it. I don't know.